go. Stand by, please. 4, 3.
AHHAS. Learns what that stands for right after this.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg,
Doc,
how you doing?
just fine, sir. You said just
Doing good.
I am. I can't complain. I mean, you know, we all have something to be thankful for.
Now, we've got a few things on our table today. I don't know if anyone noticed.
Yeah,
You
just a little bit.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about a program in Cave Spring. It's been around for a while. I didn't really know to the extent that it was active. We'll find out more about that, of course. But you're kind of a crafty guy.
I like to try crafts. I like to try, you know, to participate in them, to try my hands at them. But I wouldn't say I'm a crafts kind of guy. But I like to at least attempt, you know.
You make lamps.
Yeah. Made a couple of
I
lamps.
think that qualifies you as crafty.
Well, I make some things.
Yeah.
But I still appreciate, I have an appreciation for artisans, and I really think that's what it is, you know, artists who really can take very little and make something out of it, you know, and I think that's something it seems to me that we're losing some of that, you know, where you can just take things and kind of create something very useful, not just abstract art, but useful art.
Well, we're going to be talking about some traditional arts and classes that are available in Cave Spring and sort of the history behind that.
I already see what I want to sign up for.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we will have Winnie Morrow out here in a minute and Sandra Salmon and talk about the AHAs, the Alton Holman Heritage Arts Inc., which is also a school in Cave Spring. So stay with us. It should be a fascinating show. We'll be right back with our guests after this.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're very happy to have with us Sandra Salmon and Winnie Morrow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome, thank you for bringing all this all this art, I guess is what I should call
That
it.
is, it's artifacts and art.
Tell me a little bit about the classes and how long this has been happening and the history behind what you're doing.
We started in the year 2000 with a sampler for the town, and that was free.
14 years ago?
14 years ago. And we have been assembling workshops in the arts for elementary students mostly, and we do some intergenerational classes. And this April, our classes are intergenerational. We're sort of reorganizing because the school systems are having to reorganize, so we don't have school groups coming in more. We have other groups that are interested. But April 5th, we're starting with 5 different workshops And those are basketry, pottery, Pazanki, oil painting, and quilting. And those will be offered to the public, and they may sign up. And Sandra is one of our instructors. She is a fine quilter. She has put together these quilts, and they are gorgeous.
Well, back 14 years ago, what made you decide to do this then?
Well, even further back than that,
Yeah.
I was at Pepperell Middle, and Dorothy Turner was the librarian there, and they have the Turner Library Center now, I think, in her name. She knew about the John C. Campbell Folk School in North Carolina and asked me if I wanted to go. And while we were up there, we heard that they were doing residential programs for high school students. So we looked at each other and said, yes, we'll ask. And so we asked if they would take middle school students, and for 5 years we took Pepperell Middle to North Carolina to do this. And then when I moved to Bartow County to teach elementary, one of the assistant superintendents over there said, if I'll get you this job if you'll get us that trip, because his son had gone on the trip with us from Pepperell Middle. So that's what we did, and for 11 years we went with Hamilton Crossing Elementary. Then they cut out their program for insurance purposes. A lot of people are afraid of working with children, and we started our own 14 years ago.
So you saw, as over a fairly long period of time, the value.
Absolutely. Hamilton Crossing noticed that their test scores went up 2 years in a row when they came to us before they had their testing. So they didn't get to do a scientific study for the third one because they weren't allowed to come before the testing, after that.
But you think there's a connection?
Absolutely, I know there is.
Yeah. What would make that happen?
The hands-on, you have to do all of the actual objectives that you do for the curriculum. You're actually doing that. They had to measure the stool. They had to make a triangle and figure out where to put the legs. They had to, of course, finish it, but the patience that they learned made them settle down, and all of a sudden they understood what they had been learning at school. It made sense.
So they could take it from a concept of
it became real. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to learn about these quilts now, Sandra. So I know you were telling me that you've been teaching these classes for the past few years at least. Is quilting something you've been doing for a long time? I mean, a long time. They're so beautifully done, I would assume so.
Oh, thank you very much. No, I moved here to Rome in 2007 with my husband, who's from here. We moved from Mississippi, and I didn't know anyone. So I came to this building and took quilting classes, thinking I would meet some Romans, and everyone in the class, except one lady, was not from here.
Really?
But it started my quilting career, and I had classes under the most wonderful teacher. And this is what is involved.
Well, you obviously caught on quickly.
Yes, she did.
Well, I keep working at it. Every day's a learning day. But as far as teaching children, it is hands-on, teeny things. You don't think about that can you thread a needle? The 5th graders do not thread needles, but they do after I get through with them. And we make a quilter's knot. And they're like, what's a quilter's knot? I said, this will go with you the rest of your life. Even if you don't quilt, you know how to make a quilter's knot and it won't pop out. And the hands, I will teach you. But the hands-on is so fun. And the little heart over there, the picture of the heart, look at the little pieces they did. They put that together. They chose their colors and the placement and sewed it together and made a heart.
You know, really and I'm quite sure you may be familiar with this as a former teacher, project-based learning. And that's one thing it's kind of coming back around, where kids can
Some
actually
places.
take concepts and actually create, take it and create something, not just conceptually.
Right.
So project-based learning is something that's finding its way back into the curriculums, and it's something that people are starting to realize that we need to get back to, is that actually giving kids tasks, but then let them demonstrate the mastery by creating something. So this makes sense, and I can see why kids will be enthused about it, because they actually get to see something made from their own hands.
Absolutely, and they take it home. But
And they
look-
have to fit it in that space,
Right.
too.
But look at the generation that is teaching. We are both older than both of you, so that makes us almost 3 times older than who we are teaching. We're missing a generation that did not learn, and that's why we would sort of like to gather some of that generation and let us teach them so they can go forward. So we have to appeal to this working mother that is just now hitting her 30s, 40s, that did not learn this and did not teach a child. But we need to continue getting to these people. That's we would like to, and that's why these classes for the generation a little bit.
Intergenerational.
Yeah, never can get that word right.
That makes sense, though.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense.
And
It does.
10 and up can do these classes.
So you have a broad range of age with your students. in the
They
class.
can be beginners or intermediates. Even been quilting a long time, I think they would learn something from
Well, let me
Sandra.
ask you
She's
this.
so creative.
What's skanky?
Pazanki.
Pazanki? What is that?
Pazanki is Ukrainian-style batik of eggs, and those are real eggs.
Now,
Well,
I don't know
Chicken
if we
eggs, real eggs?
Real
They
chicken
are.
eggs.
we're sort of seeing this basket here,
You have
but
one of those.
they're delicate.
Oh, what you trying
They're-
to say? I'm going like.
I'm saying they're delicate, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You can-
Oh, okay.
This one is a student egg. It looks very similar to the instructor's eggs, and the instructor made all the eggs that are in there. She actually grew up with us. She was in the very first classes that we did, and she took the Pazanki and just fell in love with it, and now she's our instructor.
Now, are they painted?
They are not painted, they are batiked. You use a very small siska, and you put a line, and you have to divide all this up evenly, and that's good math there. But then you do that with wax, and then you dye the egg. You take the wax off with heat from a candle flame, and then you do it again. And everywhere you put your wax, your dye won't stick on the egg. And you start with light colors, and then you keep going until you make the dark.
So it is a process. It's
a
something that
definite
takes
process.
time. And
Now,
You can make one egg in one day.
Right, right.
These designs are so intricate. Are they planned out in advance?
She does. This one is a traditional design. This there's one like it in there. All of those may not be traditional designs. Hers are, a lot of them are her designs, but they are very precise, and you can be extremely creative with the eggs.
The children do not have a problem making these. It is amazing to see what comes out of their designs. It's because the instructor's good.
I'm sure that's what it is. I have no doubt. Well, you know, the idea that some of these arts, like many skills that require artistic talent, are being, I don't know if lost is too strong a word, but it's hard to find people that know how to. You know, I know you're doing basketry, but you know, we were trying to find somebody recently that could recane a chair. It's hard to find somebody.
Well, lots of people call us when they can't find somebody. I'm serious, they do. I can usually find somebody.
Yeah.
you know what's interesting about this, or what I like, is when you travel and you go to little shops, and you want to kind of buy something to give you like a feel, but then you look at it and it's made in certain places, and you kind of destroys the whole the whole feel. Like, I want something original that an artist made, that kind of, when I take it back home, whenever I look at it, I can say, well, I got this there, and it was made by this artist.
Makes it a real special souvenir.
But you find a lot of little trinket, or honestly just a lot of junk that are just
could have been out of the ground, or it could have been a metal or a stone on the side of the road that came from that section of the ground.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on our break here in just a few seconds. When we come back, we'll find out more about this program in Cave Spring, the AHAs, and details about the courses that are coming up in April very soon. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're having a conversation with Winnie Morrow and Sandra Salmon about traditional arts and a series of classes that are going to be offered in Cave Spring, as they have been yearly for 14 years now. And this was made by John
Johnston,
who does the pottery classes. And we know John from doing pottery at Foundation Camp in the summer. And I remember when we met John and talked to him about the camp, and our campers can be a little on the rowdy side. And I think we kind of thought, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. And he brought his potter's wheel out there, and they loved it.
They loved it, yeah.
And they listened to him. And,
he was able to focus their attention.
He's an excellent instructor.
Another question though, who is Alton Holman?
Alton Holman was educated at the Georgia School for the Deaf. He was a really fine photographer who did silver tint photography back in the 40s. And he graduated, I guess 47 or 9 or something. He also worked with Boy Scouts. He was a carpenter. And when his name was mentioned, there was no dissension at all. He was such a nice person, and he was our only photographer for a long time in Cave Spring. Did a lot of weddings and very fine work.
So it is the Alton Holman Heritage Arts Inc.
We dropped school from the actual name, but the S kind of stuck. Yeah. Because there are a lot of AHAs. And
you do more than the classes.
We when we do residential programs, we do performance. The children participate, for instance, in juggling. We immerse them in the arts for 24 hours when we do residential programs. We've done as many as 110 children in a group, and it's a fantastic thing because the child is treated outside of class just the same as inside class. They learn by eating family style. They are fascinated with sharing the food at the table. Most of them have never eaten family style. It's a beautiful experience to watch them just unfold right there before you. It's a fantastic thing. They work together, they share materials, they share tools, they share the dorm, and they share fun. It's just really fantastic. That's
and they
the
clean
best.
Up together.
They clean up together.
Absolutely.
The first time I took a group, to North Carolina, they fussed over who was going to wash the dishes. They do participate in the whole event.
Well, when the classes start, how long does it? I mean, how many sessions does it? Will a class?
We
typically
schedule
be?
sessions as they come to us. So we may go for a while without any, or we may have a bunch that come together. Spring is a good time.
Mhm.
We already have these classes that we're doing for the public, and the GSD is looking at classes for May.
Now, is the class just one day, or is it? Or
No,
could it be multiple days?
we don't recommend one day. If they can come for more than a day, that's best. One day is okay, but they get tired, and if they get in a class they don't like, then they can't at least have a little relief in the afternoon. We like to schedule 2 classes for the groups, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Now, these classes that are coming up in April, that would be up to the instructor. If anybody wanted to make baskets and eggs, they might be able to do that, so they could put their eggs in their basket.
Well,
But it's not really Easter eggs, but it can be.
I know we're coming up on the time that these classes start. So, would it be wise for someone to call you, even if it's too late to get in?
Absolutely.
By April 5th.
There may be room.
Okay.
We have a deadline of the 31st, but that's so that we'll know if we have enough to actually make the class.
So it might still be possible to get
Right.
in, and then if something is full, you could
Maybe there's
find out
another
for the
class
future coming
that
up.
they like to take.
So they should call regardless. Just
Sure.
And you charge by the day.
By the day, $35 for the day. Now there is a $25 one-time non-refundable fee, administrative fee, for the 4 Saturdays, but that comes off the total, so it doesn't cost more. It's just that we keep that $25.
Yeah. Well,
Let me ask. So then the quilting class, Sandra. So if I wanted to sign up for the quilting class, so is that a 4 Saturday commitment, or is it just? But I'm saying you can't do this in one day.
If you come one day, you might not get through.
Yeah.
No, and you know, it just depends on your level of what you know how to do. Do you know how to use a ruler and a cutting mat that we can get everything cut and get to sewing?
I can even do a 5/8. I think it is stitch.
Well, see,
I took
you're
that in
ahead of
What
the
did you
group
just
to
say?
begin with.
what did you just say?
I'm just saying. I took
That's
that in.
right. That's right. It's a seam. It's a seam. Now we don't sew our seams that big, but that's okay. He's got to start. So yes, what we could do is, if you can learn the basics of one quilt square, which is probably this pattern that I'm going to teach. So we're talking 12 inches. So
There it is, right there.
let's see.
That's
Okay,
it.
so this is sort of a big 12-inch. But if you can learn this, you can go home and make 50 of those. And then we'll put you a quilt together.
Okay.
So you
I'd like to
just,
see that.
just a little
I
knowledge,
just-
just a little knowledge from me, and you can sew.
I'm just saying, it's just that, you know, I know for me, and I know Trish, a lot of times we're looking for unique things to do together. And it's just kind of hard to find, you just don't want to, you want something unique and different that you can do together, it's new. I'm just thinking, you know, some of this is, you know, I can see doing some of this. You know.
A lot of men quilt and out quilt us as far as the beauty and the putting together, and maybe their math is even a little bit different than me
I can
too.
believe that.
So you have an interesting
Yes.
pulling together.
Basketry. I mean, I can see some of that. You know, we have some baskets from Africa. I know you have some.
Yeah.
Just, you know, so we like collecting baskets now. So, you know, just to be able to,
Make your
you
own.
know,
Our basketry instructor this time is Tisa Barton, and she's from Rome, and she's planning a market basket. It's about as
Yeah.
big as this, but it has a handle, and it's not that design, but
So there are 5 different classes in April.
yes.
Are these typically the same classes you regularly offer, or
No, we're
you mix
just,
them up based on, I guess, on the instructor
as I said,
availability?
we are reorganizing because the school groups are not able to come, so that we are seeing what we can offer to the public and which instructors can come. We have had instructors with work in the Smithsonian, and they're willing to come. And we have people who have taken classes in North Carolina who will share what they have learned. It's a fantastic experience any way you look at it.
So the question is, what classes are you going to sign up for? I mean, that's the question.
You know, I really have always wanted to do pottery. I've never done pottery, but I mean, not in a real way with a wheel and everything.
This is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do folks need to do to sign up?
They can call us. We have a website, ahas.org, and there's an application there. PayPal is available. They can go online and pay. They can pull off the application and mail it. There's several ways to contact us. And
All right, so at the very end of the show, I'll give those different ways you want to get something to write with. I'll give that out at the very end of the show. And where does the organization funding come from? Because surely not from the $35 fee.
yes, it is.
Really?
Yes, it
You
is.
pay for the whole organization that way? You've got to have a lot of volunteer work then.
We do. We have
Yeah.
a lot of volunteers.
Well, it's obvious that the two of you are passionate about this, and so I expect that the other instructors are as well.
They are. We do pay our instructors, but we also have instructors who donate the money back. It's a very fine thing. They realize the value of it, and we have been supported quite a bit by individuals and a few little grants. None of us who volunteer have time to get grants, so that's
Yes.
something we have to work on.
Well, we're coming up on another break in a minute here, or in a few seconds. So when we come back, I'll give you the contact information so you can sign up for one of these traditional arts courses in April. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Packers. Vikings. Packers. Vikings. Vikings.
Red state, blue state, vegan,
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
downtown,
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live
our families,
united.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been talking with Winnie Morrow and Sandra Salmon about the Alton Holman Heritage Arts, Inc., and the classes that they have coming up in April. Quilting, painting, pottery, Pysanky, am I saying that right? Pysanky, and basketry. And if you are interested in registering for a class or you want to ask more questions, go to the website, ahas.org, or call Kay at 706-676-8770, 706-676-8770. And you could be making some beautiful things like this. I'm impressed with this.
Very impressed. I want to take some of it home.
But thank y'all for being on the show, and thank you for what you're doing. And,
Thank you for having us here.
we'll have to have you back again, maybe get some of the students come back with
That
their
would
work.
be fantastic.
And thank you for being with us this week on Community Watch. We'll see you next time. Bye now.